How can being in the position of the least powerful affect your negotiations?
One of the things that we've shown over and over again in my research is that when people lack power, they're inhibited, as I just said. And one of the consequences of that is they become less ambitious in their goals. They're less likely to make the first offer. And some of the research that I've done and lots of other people have done is that there's a strategic advantage in negotiations to making the first offer. And so one of the things that we've shown in our research is that if you can get a low power person, but ask them to do a really simple little process before they negotiate, just think about a time when they had power. To get into a high power mindset, they're more likely to come in with confidence, with ambition, and more likely to make the first offer. And that leads to better outcomes. So just to give you one example outside the realm of negotiation is we had people go in for business school interviews. And we had a third of them think about a time when they had power, a third of them think about a time when they had lack power, and then a third were sort of in the baseline condition. And we showed that there was a dramatic boost in interview success when they thought about time when they had power, but there was a dramatic reduction in success when they thought about time when they lacked power.
Is there a physicality that goes along with that mental state?
Sure. One of the things that I've pioneered is this idea of the power recall, like to prime the mind by thinking about time when you had power. Other people like Amy Cuddy and Dana Carney have talked about power posture or power posing, where we put our chest out and we do this sort of in the bathroom to prepare ourselves and stuff like that. I think that, other research that I've done has shown that when you give people music with sort of fast-paced and a lot of bass, it makes people feel more powerful. So we gave people 50 cents into club, and they then felt more powerful and acted more powerfully. And so whether it's recalling a time you had power, music, or a pose, any of these things, you want to pick the one that works best for you, but they all have shown some scientific evidence. The recall prime has the most scientific evidence because hundreds and hundreds of studies have been done about that. And you can understand why that one's so important, because if I close my eyes, I think about time I had power, I really get back into that mindset. The power posture is very effective for some people, but some people feel kind of silly and foolish doing it. And so I think the power recall one is sort of the one that I think really sort of has the most scientific evidence behind it, and the one that I think really activates that sense of power in a more internal and visceral way. For me, when I first started teaching, I would get very nervous, and especially when I'd go to a foreign audience, like an executive audience of some CEOs and CFOs and CEOs. And then one day I realized, but I've never failed. And it's like, I know what I'm doing. And so what I would do then is I would just remind myself, think back to a time when I did feel really comfortable teaching. And then it was much easier to go into a lecture and be more confident.